So what we'll be covering in this Enagic Business Launch Blueprint is that there's 4 sections. First section is the problem, right? If you aren't aware, which most people aren't, including my family, like I said, for over 10 years, we basically went down every path except for this one, which is the biggest piece. It's not the only piece, but it's the biggest piece. So we're going to show you why and bring that awareness to you. From there, we're going to get into the solution. Okay, now what, right? It's kind of like doom and gloom unless we show you the solution, which we will, so don't worry. Then we're going to get into actually a scientific presentation, a live presentation that shows the information in action, which is really, really cool to see as well. And then we're going to get into the numbers. And remember, all of this is a package. If all of the boxes are checked off, if all of the lights are green, then this is something that you can create an incredible company, business, and lifestyle with, and also impact people in a huge way. So there's a process to this, and we're going to touch on each thing because they're all very important. So, why is my clicker not working? Okay. First, the bad news. We live in a world of toxicity. You probably already are aware of this on some level, right? There's a lot of pollution. There's a lot of chemicals being sprayed on our foods. There's a lot of contaminants in our water. And the problem really comes down to that people are becoming less and less healthy. Throughout the world, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and other lifestyle-related illnesses are on the rise. All you got to do is a quick Google search to see the state of people's health in the country you live in. And most of them around the world, especially first world nations, are declining rapidly. And that's not good. People are overfed and undernourished. They're shopping in the center of the grocery store, right? All the processed food and all the junk. They're not eating real food anymore. And that's causing a lot of issues. So fact, we love facts. Every single person on this planet can benefit from improving their long-term health. And this is one of the easiest and best ways of doing that, which is what we're talking about here today. So we're suffering from more dis-ease than ever before. Now, the first part of this is dehydration. So 90+% of people are chronically dehydrated. And when you say chronically dehydrated, it's past the point of them even being aware that they're dehydrated. They're no longer even feeling thirsty. They're way past that point. Now it's just a new normal. Which is absolutely crazy. Our bodies are made up of 70% approximately of water, and our brain is 85% water. Did you know that when you're born as a baby, if you're born as a healthy baby, you're born in homeostasis, you're perfect. Your internal organs, everything is perfect. From that moment on, it starts to deteriorate away from that. So when you see a really old person and they're shriveled over, hunched over, their water has gone significantly down in their bodies. They're literally shriveling like a raisin. But when they were born, they were like closer to 90% water. It's like phenomenal how much water plays a role in our overall health and how much that can change when you're not replenishing properly throughout your lifetime. So some of the symptoms that people experience and they don't know why is symptoms including fatigue, migraines, clouded thoughts, muscle cramps, infrequent urination, and many more. Okay, and this is also a trigger for other things to start happening. Dehydration leads to much worse things in the body. So this is a baseline that is very important for you to be aware of and factor into your overall health. Acidosis is the second major one. The blood pH never strays from 7.35 to 7.45. Which really means that the rest of your body is always trying to take on the extra acidity to protect the blood, which means you get different body parts, different organs starting to fail. So excessive oxidation at a cellular level, symptoms include heartburn, acid reflux, skin issues, joint inflammation, stress, and many more. So you can see here a long list of stuff that people are dealing with every single day. Inflammation is the third major one. It's your body's attempt at self-protection becomes chronic if the internal environment cannot flush it away. Chronic inflammation can eventually cause several diseases and conditions, including some cancers, rheumatoid arthritis, and other systemic diseases. See, we start getting into the big words and I start messing things up, but I'll do my best. All right. The human body is mostly water. So it's funny to me now, 12 years later, that people are still choosing to be ignorant to this fact. It's one thing to not know at all, and it's another thing to know and not do anything about it. So I like to always tell people is like, you may have been able to plead ignorance before this presentation, but if you watch this thing and do nothing at the end of it, that's on you because you can't plead ignorance anymore. So human body, roughly 72% water, lungs 90%, blood 82%, skin 80%, muscle 75%, brain 70%, bones. It matters, guys. It really does matter. Our planet is very similar to our bodies. Our planet is also mostly water. So that's a clue for you how important this all is. Why don't people drink enough water, right? This is a question that I ask people to this day. I'm always curious when I get people with this really emotional reaction when water comes up and they're like, man, are you serious? It doesn't taste good. I don't like the way it feels. It sloshes around in my belly. You know, you go to the gym and you're thirsty. You slam a big bottle of water or drink from the little fountain and try doing bench press or some kind of workout and you feel these waves splashing in your stomach. Obviously, nobody likes that, right? It's not good. It's hard to drink. It has a metallic aftertaste. You got to really force yourself. So people have associated water as being something they don't enjoy. And that's obviously not going to lead you to drinking more and being properly hydrated. So really ask yourself right now, if you were to think about today or the last week or the last month and try to guess how much water you're drinking daily on an average, would you think that you're drinking enough as it is right now? Most people would be like, nope. So this book is really interesting. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at the bookstore. But Dr. Batman here, he says, you're not sick, you're thirsty. Don't treat thirst with medications. And that's so profound if you think about it. Because often people actually confuse hunger with dehydration also. They're like, oh man, I'm super hungry. But really, you're thirsty. So thirst is one of the first things that you should be thinking about regarding your health with the right water, of course, which we're going to get into. So are you dehydrated? Or I should say, are you hydrated? I just assume you're dehydrated. Are you hydrated? Probably not. You're dehydrated. But here's a quick indicator when you go pee in the bathroom. You know, have a quick look and see what color on the pee spectrum you're landing. Okay, because if it gets darker and darker and darker, you need to replenish those electrolytes and the fluids as soon as possible. Some benefits of proper hydration. You know, people are always focusing on food and diet and working out and sleep and supplements and everything else out of the 100% equation of health that all fits into only 30% total. And then the biggest piece, which is roughly 70%, gets completely ignored. Don't you think that's a little bit crazy, right? But if you focus on that and you do it the right way, it can lead to weight loss, weight control, strengthens your immune system, improve bodily functions, increase brain power, memory, focus, energizes your muscles, decreases your chances of getting serious illnesses, regulates your bowel movements, ramp ups your brain power. That's important. We put that on there twice. Prevents cramping and removes toxins, right? So really, really important, guys, to get enough. So here's the next part. So what is the solution to our hydration needs? What are your options? Now, obviously, depending on where you live in the world, different parts of the world have different quality of source water. Some countries are blessed and fortunate to have tap water running right into their homes. That is technically drinkable, and other countries do not. So that will depend on where you live and where you're watching this. But some common ones in like first world countries is municipal tap water. But a lot of the time, people don't know that in the fine print, the government actually mandates that you are responsible for filtering your own tap water in the fine print. You don't even see that. So you're just like, oh, it's a clear liquid. It's good. It came from my tap. I can drink it. And they're saying, we're not responsible for any of that. You're responsible for making sure that it's healthy and good for you. Because the reason why is because inside the water, there's rust, chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, lye, and there's traces of over 100 other chemicals that you can't see that you're just putting and ingesting in your body. And the thing is, because they're small amounts, you don't get sick necessarily immediately, but it has a compound effect. When you're in your late 30s, 40s, and 50s, all of a sudden you start getting these health issues and you're not sure where it came from. And it's been this thing that's been accumulating in your body from something like tap water potentially for many, many years. So it's important to be aware of that. So then, about 25 years ago or so, roughly, the bottled water industry really started to take off. And personally, I think this is one of the biggest scams that there is. It's really bad because a lot of these companies that are owned by Coca-Cola and Pepsi and so on, they're like conglomerates that own the bottled water brands. They take the water from Mother Nature in the ground and they don't even pay for it. And then they mark it up thousands of percent, and it's no different than the tap water. It just has fancy branding on it. And then they leave it on the tarmac, as you see in this picture, and bake it in the hot sun, which, as you know, plastic and heat are not good combinations. It leaches chemicals into the water. If you've ever tasted a bottle of water when it sat in the sun in your car and all of a sudden it tastes nasty, well, guess what? Once that actually cools back down, you don't taste that anymore. So we don't know how long the water has been in the plastic, how many times it's been baked in the sun, how long it's sat in the warehouse before you bought it at the store, right? People don't think about that. They just assume that it was bottled yesterday and then delivered straight to Costco or Walmart or the gas station where you buy your bottled water. No, that could have been bottled who knows how long ago. So inside bottled water, it's acidic, oxidizing, it strips the body of minerals, it's loaded with plastics, BPA, you probably heard a little bit about that it's BPA free is important as well. Causes hormone issues. There's a really interesting documentary called The Disappearing Male. You can check that out. It's linked to cancers, and there's an environmental nightmare. I don't know the most recent stats, but it's staggering how many millions of plastic bottles, mostly water bottles, are consumed per day, and most of them end up in the landfill. And there's these ginormous trash vortexes in the middle of the ocean. You can Google it, trash vortex, that are the size of the state of Texas, like 20 stories deep in the ocean, full of plastic bottles. That average time for decomposing is 1,000 years. And it's killing the fish, it's killing the ecosystem. And people aren't even aware of it, and they don't care. So we only have one Earth. This is something that's important. We do have to do whatever we can to be part of the solution, and part of the solution, and protect the environment. There's reverse osmosis, RO water. This isn't as popular, but some people do try to drink this as well. And it removes all the essential minerals, vitamins, dead water, acidic, meant for short-term use only, like filtering water while camping. So it's causing destruction on our planet, guys. These are some of the pipes that our tap water comes in, and they don't care. The government doesn't give a crap. Their main goal is for this to not happen, so they don't have to spend money on replacing the pipes. They don't actually care about the pipes in our bodies. So that's on us. So the solution, regular water that we all know about or knew about before watching this, cannot solve our issues. Chronic dehydration, acidosis, inflammation. If we can actually tackle those three things in our bodies and for our families, our friends, and people we love and care about, it will reduce the chances of other things happening in our bodies, health-related issues, diseases, and illnesses by staggering percentages. It is the main three things that lead to people getting sick and dying. Those three things.